have known a woman, not one of delicate glass, easily shattered, not one of brittle stone, easily cast aside, but a woman of iron and silk, wrapped in solitude. She walks alone, not because she wishes it, but because the world has mistaken her quiet for weakness, her strength for distance, her dignity for pride. She sits at a table set for one. The room hums with laughter she is not invited to share. Yet she does not shrink, she does not beg, for she has learned that loneliness is not a cage. It is a classroom, and in that silence she hears the truth. A woman with no friends is still a woman whole. The misunderstood silent society often mistakes solitude for sadness, yet some of the strongest women have walked alone. She is not invisible. She is observing, she is growing, she is becoming. I have seen the way they look at her, brows furrowed, lips pressed tight, as if her silence offends. A woman who walks alone unsettles the world because the world has long believed that a woman's worth is measured by the company she keeps. But she is not lonely, oh no. She is listening, listening to the whisper of her own thoughts, to the quiet hum of her own heartbeat, to the truth that rises like steam from a boiling pot, a truth that says, you are enough. The world will tell her otherwise. The world will tell her that a woman without friends is a woman unloved, unwanted, unchosen. The world will ask her, why don't they sit with you? Why don't they call? As if a woman standing alone is an unfinished sentence. As if a woman in her own company is a thing to be pitied. But I tell you, there is no sorrow in knowing yourself. There is no shame in keeping your own counsel. A woman who walks alone walks with wisdom. See, a woman who speaks little hears much. She learns that some words are dressed in silk but cut like knives. She learns that some smiles are wide but empty, that some hands extended in friendship are only seeking to take. So she chooses quiet, not because she fears the noise, but because she refuses to be lost in it. There is a power in that, a power in being still when the world demands you dance, a power in standing firm when the world insists you bend. And though they may not understand her, she understands herself. And that, my dear, is the greatest knowing of all. The betrayal of false friendships. It is better to dine alone than feast with those who whisper against you. The absence of company does not mean the absence of worth. A woman will learn, oh, she will learn, that not every hand reaching for hers comes in kindness. Some hands come empty, asking for what she has. Some hands come sharp, waiting to cut her down. And some hands come heavy, pressing her small so that they may feel tall. She will learn that not every smile is sweet, that not every arm around her shoulder holds warmth. Some arms hold her close just to measure where best to strike. Some voices call her sister, friend, but their tongues curl around those words like vines, twisting truth, choking light. She will sit at tables where the laughter is thick, where the glasses clink and the plates are full, and yet she will feel hunger gnaw at her ribs. Hunger for honesty, for loyalty, for a love that does not demand she be less so that others may be more. She will leave those tables, and they will call her ungrateful, call her proud, but let me tell you, it is no sin to walk away from a meal that poisons the soul. A woman with no friends is not always a woman unloved. Sometimes she is a woman who has loved too deeply, given too freely, poured herself out until the cup was empty, and still they asked for more. She has learned that some friendships are like a candle in the wind, bright for a moment, gone the next. She has learned that some are like a shadow, present in light, absent in darkness. But a woman does not beg for a love that is not freely given. She does not chase after what has turned its back. She does not kneel before a door that has been slammed shut. No. She lifts her chin, she straightens her spine, she walks forward with grace and with certainty, knowing that she is not lost, For a woman alone is not always a woman abandoned. Sometimes she is a woman who refuses to settle for anything less than truth. The power of self-acknowledge. In the stillness of her own presence, she discovers who she is, beyond expectation. A woman who knows herself will never beg to be known by others. She has spent years bending to fit into rooms too small for her spirit, shrinking herself to fit into conversations that did not deserve her wisdom. She has smiled when she was weary, nodded when she wanted to shake her head, laughed when her heart was breaking, but no more. One day she steps away from the noise, steps away from the clamor of approval, the restless need to belong, the hunger for hands to clap for her so she might believe she is worthy. And in that quiet, she meets herself. Not the self they have named for her, not the self shaped by what others needed her to be. No, she meets the woman she was always meant to be. She sees her reflection, and for the first time, she does not tilt her head to make it more pleasing. She does not smooth the edges, does not soften the fire in her eyes, does not whisper an apology to the mirror. She stands firm. She is not merely someone's daughter, someone's sister, someone's friend. She is not a decoration for another's story. She is her own beginning, her own middle, her own ever-unfolding end. She learns that solitude is not emptiness. It is the fullness of one's own presence. It is the sound of her own voice speaking truth, unrushed, uninterrupted, undeniable. She hears it say, "You are not a thing to be claimed. You are not waiting to be found, to be chosen, to be validated. You are not a lesser shape without their company, not an echo waiting for a voice to give you meaning. No, you are the song and the singer. You are the poem and the poet. You are simply and magnificently enough." And when she knows this, deep in the marrow of her bones, deep in the sacred corners of her soul, she no longer walks with hesitation. She no longer waits for permission. She moves as the woman she was meant to be. And the world, ready or not, must make room. The strength in walking alone. The path of greatness is often a solitary road, and yet she does not falter. She builds not from applause, but from purpose. She has walked through cities that did not call her name. She has sat in rooms where voices rose and fell, never pausing to let hers be heard. She has stepped onto roads where footprints were few, where the wind whispered, turn back, but she did not. She kept walking. There is a quiet strength in a woman who walks alone, a strength that does not waver when doors close, that does not tremble when shoulders turn away, a strength that comes not from being carried, but from knowing deep in the marrow of her bones that she is her own foundation. They will wonder about her. They will ask, why does she not seek the crowd? Why does she not follow the well-worn path? But she knows that a woman who follows the crowd only goes as far as the crowd allows. A woman who walks alone, she goes anywhere she pleases. She has learned that solitude is not a weakness. It is a testing ground. It is where she meets the raw edges of herself, where she faces her fears without flinching, where she builds without waiting for another's hands. And though the road may be long, she does not tire. She does not stop to beg companionship from those who cannot match her stride, who do not see the vision in her eyes, for she is not walking for company. She is walking toward something greater. She is walking toward the woman she is becoming. And when she arrives, oh, when she arrives, the world will not ask where her companions were. It will not count the hands she held along the way. It will only see the woman who stands before them, unshaken, unbroken, unafraid. And they will know she did not need a path paved for her. She carved her own. The arrival of true companionship. When a woman stands firm in her own grace, she does not chase, she attracts. True friends will come, not because she seeks them, but because she shines too brightly to be ignored. She has learned the art of waiting, not the restless, anxious waiting of a woman desperate to be seen, but the patient, steady waiting of a woman who knows her worth. She no longer reaches out with trembling hands, no longer presses herself into spaces too small, no longer folds herself neatly just to fit inside someone else's life. She has stepped into her fullness, and in that fullness she is whole. Once she believed she needed them, the voices that called her name in sunlight but faded like mist when night fell, the hands that held hers in laughter but loosened their grip when the storms rolled in. She called them friends, but now she knows better. Now she understands that friendship is not a game of numbers, not a crowded room, not a show of hands raised in momentary allegiance. Friendship is a bridge, built strong enough to hold the weight of truth. Friendship is a fire, burning steady through the coldest nights. Friendship is a door, open in both light and darkness, welcoming, unwavering, without condition. And so she waits, not with sorrow, but with certainty. She waits not with longing, but with peace. For she knows that when a woman walks in her truth, when she stands in her power, when she no longer bends herself to be chosen, she becomes a light that cannot be ignored. And true friends, real friends, they do not need to be chased. They find her, not because she is lonely, but because she is luminous. A woman with no friends is not a woman broken. She is not a woman lacking, not a woman forgotten. She is a woman in transition, a woman in bloom, a woman discovering the depth of her own soul before inviting another to walk beside her. She does not measure her worth by the number of hands that clap for her. She does not shrink when the world turns its back. She stands tall and unwavering. And when the right souls arrive, those who see her, truly see her, she will not question their place in her life, nor will she beg them to stay. She will know that they have come not because she reached for them in desperation, but because she stood so firmly in her truth that they could not help but be drawn to her light. So to every woman walking alone, I say this: walk boldly, walk fiercely, walk with the knowledge that your path is your own, and it is enough. You are enough, and when you arrive, wherever it is you are meant to be, you will not be lonely, you will be radiant. Good luck on your journey, and thank you.